President Trump just signed into law the first ever major cryptocurrency bill. And after it was passed in the House of Representatives, the market valuation of cryptocurrency hit a record $4 trillion.
Let me say the entire crypto community, for years, you were mocked and dismissed and counted out. You were counted out as little as a year and a half ago. But this signing is a massive validation.
President Trump has vowed to make America the crypto capital of the planet, and this law gives credibility to this relatively new way to exchange money. The latest Security.org survey found that 28% of Americans own cryptocurrency. That number has nearly doubled in the past 3 years as crypto grows. And 60% of adults familiar with crypto believe the value of cryptocurrencies will increase during President Trump's second term in the White House. So what does this new legislation called the Genius Act do? Well, the White House says that it protects consumers from nefarious actors in financial markets. The law establishes a regulatory framework for stablecoins. It would establish guidelines for banks and other entities that issue stablecoins and also put safeguards in place for stablecoin holders.
With stablecoins, these are simply a digital representation of a value that is pegged to a fiat currency, in this case, a US dollar, meaning the value of the dollar is the value of the coin. And that's designed to keep prices, stable irrespective of what happens in the marketplace. With some of these other coins, right, you got meme coins, which, in my opinion, is a reflection of today's culture. What are we thinking? What are we feeling?
According to Kraken, meme coins focus on viral internet trends and pop culture references. Think Dogecoin or Shiba Inu. President Trump also has his own meme coin. Meme coins typically have limited value, but investors buy to be a part of a community or for entertainment.
Each crypto addresses a different pain point in society. Now, all of them won't be successful. A lot of them will fail. That's the nature of technology. Whenever, back when the internet bubble, a lot of internet companies came out, 90% failed now, but we do have Amazon, Google, and a lot of the big ones that do take a huge part in our lives. So the same thing's going to happen with crypto.
Since President Trump took office, the price of Bitcoin has risen from around $70,000 to around $120,000. Bitcoin was the first decentralized cryptocurrency, which means no single entity, bank, business, or the government has control over it. Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system enabling direct online payments without financial institutions, according to Kraken. Bitcoin uses blockchain technology to facilitate secure and anonymous transactions. There are two other crypto bills that are on lawmakers' radars. One is the Clarity Act, which aims to establish a unified regulatory framework for digital assets, clarifying the roles of the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission.
What this act is designed to do is provide these foundational definitions that, we've all been using. But if you go and look up blockchain, you go up and look up digital assets or digital commodities, you're going to find a different type of definition no matter where you're reading or who you're talking to. This act starts to create a more universal understanding of what these principles are.
The Anti-CBDC Act would prohibit the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency because critics say that if they did, it would facilitate financial monitoring or surveillance by the federal government.
These aren't perfect, but it is a long, long time coming. The industry has been begging for some type of understanding, a guidance book, a pathway so that we don't keep getting hit with these enforcement first, penalties. And then all of a sudden we're supposed to understand it, after the fact. That hasn't worked. It's not going to work.
Democrats argue that these bills would give President Trump the authority to write rules that would financially benefit him and his family, but many see this as just the beginning of making crypto more mainstream.
You either have to do it today or you have to do it tomorrow, but eventually you will have to accept cryptocurrency one way or another. It's going to be either, now that the banks are involved, JP Morgan, you got BlackRock, a lot of other bigger investment banks are involved. So you're going to have to get into it because they're going to start introducing that into your retirement fund.
For NewsNation, I'm Mills Hayes.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.